Hello, I'm Rebecca Weber. You're watching Better for America, presented by AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Joining me today is Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. We have a wide-ranging interview coming up in just a moment, so stay tuned. Paragon Home Resources is an industry leader in real estate and moving services with a national network of reputable partners. To learn more, please visit paragonhomeresources.com/AMAC or call us at 855-647-2644. Senator Blackburn, thank you so much for joining me. It's great to have you back on the show.
It is so good to join you, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk with so many wonderful Tennesseans. I'm delighted to know that they are a big part of your audience.
They certainly are. Over 54,000 AMAC members in the great state of Tennessee. And, our members are saying America is at an inflection point. Today, more than ever, our civil liberties are under threat. And last week, you voted in favor of a ban on TikTok because of its ties to China. Now, the bipartisan support of this bill and Joe Biden's support of the bill may put some pressure on the Senate to act. But there were some noteworthy Republicans who were opposed, and many who voiced concern for the bill says that it could violate the First Amendment rights of millions of Americans. Can you tell us why you voted in favor of the ban? And if you have any fears about it being, if people have fears about it being abused, are those fears really warranted? Can we be sure that if it is banned, the same won't be done to other platforms?
Yes, and the bill will come to the Senate now that the House has passed it. And we've done hearings on TikTok. We have looked at this issue and have looked at the data collection practices and the lack of data security on these platforms for many years. I'm very pleased that Congress is taking this issue so seriously. Now, what we know about TikTok is this. TikTok is owned by ByteDance. ByteDance is owned in large part by the Chinese Communist Party. We know because of that, ByteDance has to cede authority to the Chinese Communist Party through the national security law. That allows them access to the data of everyone that is on TikTok. That data is not stored in the United States. It is stored in Beijing, China. That is where they are sourcing that data, where they are manipulating the data. They do the data mining, and they basically create what I call a virtual you, which is you in your presence online. So that is what they're doing with the data of Americans. Now, in that data pool, much of what they grab is not only what you do on TikTok, but the other apps that you have on your phone, the other sites that you visit, who your friends are, who you are texting, the keystrokes that you make on your phone are followed. All of that goes into the data collection they hold on you. So this creates a national security vulnerability when you have that much data on an individual. It is not a free speech issue. It is a national security issue. That is why there is bipartisan support to not banning TikTok, but requiring TikTok to separate from the Chinese Communist Party and giving them a set period of time to do that. And then one of the concerns is the algorithm and the way this algorithm is used to manipulate what a person sees and hears on that platform. Now, we saw how this plays out last week when the House had their vote. And all of a sudden, you had TikTokers from around the country calling members of Congress. They could touch the screen on their device. They could be connected to their member of Congress, and now this week to their senator. That should cause everyone to question, how do they have that much information about me, that they have that amount of location data, that they know where I am, where I live, and who my representative in Congress is.
Yeah,
And
that is,
I think, really proved the point to a lot of people that the way TikTok manipulates and uses and weaponizes this data in cases of elections, of national disasters, of natural disasters, think of what they could do with disinformation.
yes, and I think, people understand and should, if they don't, they need to recognize that China is certainly a national security threat, and I'm
Correct.
very pleased to see that Congress is acting. National security is certainly top of mind for AMAC members, and you recently tweeted that Biden renewed a sanctions waiver that unlocks $10 billion for Iran, despite all that Iran has done to fund Hamas. And recently, Chuck Schumer astonishingly called for the removal of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Can you take a quick listen to this few-second video? Go ahead.
Sure.
Right now, there are four major obstacles standing in the way of two states. And until they are removed from the equation, there will never be peace in Israel and Gaza and the West Bank. The four major obstacles are Hamas and the Palestinians who support and tolerate their evil ways, radical right-wing Israelis in government and society, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
So, Senator, why do the Democrats so hate the elected Prime Minister of Israel, Bibi Netanyahu?
I just left a meeting where Bibi Netanyahu was speaking to us by a video link, and it was a very insightful meeting. Here is what we know. We know that the best way to help the Palestinian people is to support Israel as they are ridding the face of the earth of Hamas. And what they need to do is break apart the last few of these Hamas battalions that are out there. They're in Rafah. They know where they are. They need to go get them. And then as they take out the leadership of these organizations and get these terrorists, kill these terrorists, and then these organizations splinter, then you will be able to address the Palestinian people and a way for them to be able to live. And Bibi Netanyahu needs our support. Israel needs and deserves our support. And we want to make certain that they know we stand with them. I think many of us were just shocked when you heard Chuck Schumer move forward with these statements, when you heard him call for the removal of Netanyahu. Imagine how we would have responded if people had done that, if other countries had done that after 9/11 and had done that to George W. Bush.
Very good point. Senator, I know you have to run. We have a final question for you. You have long pushed for cracking down on illegal immigration. Sadly, so many lives have been lost at the hands of illegal immigrants, including, of course, 22-year-old Laken Riley. She was brutally murdered during a morning jog right on her college campus. So you recently reintroduced legislation that would require the DHS to take custody of illegal aliens flagged by local authorities, among other things. Can you tell us about that legislation and how it will protect our country and save the lives of innocent Americans?
Yes, indeed. And every town is a border town, every state a border state right now, because of the open border, which is Joe Biden's border policy. One thing that we can do is pass the CLEAR Act. This is legislation that I had when I was in the House. I've pulled that bill back out and have refiled it because the CLEAR Act would allow local law enforcement to apprehend and detain any illegal immigrant for any infraction that they cause. And then After they are dealt with by that local authority, they can be deported by ICE. They have to be deported by ICE. And that local law enforcement agency is to be reimbursed by ICE for every penny that they spend in that apprehension and detainment, because it is that local law enforcement doing the job that the federal government was supposed to do in the first place. My legislation also would strip federal funding, federal law enforcement funding, from those local law enforcement agencies and local municipalities that do not enforce immigration law, thereby your sanctuary cities, and it would deny their ability to accept federal funds.
Well, Senator, we thank you so much. The border wide open today as we see it, with millions entering, illegally, and we're seeing more and more lives lost. Senator, we thank you so very much. You were one of the very first recipients of AMAC's top award years ago, and we do feel a special kinship to you, as do our over 2 million members, as did my father. So I just thank you so much for being a strong, thoughtful, courageous conservative, and God bless you, and thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you.
Paragon Home Resources is an industry leader in real estate and moving services with a national network of reputable partners. Paragon is here to help you. Paragon Home Resources provides a personal home resources coordinator to arrange the real estate and moving solutions that meet your needs. You save time and money when you use one of Paragon's reputable real estate agents. They can help you sort through your belongings and arrange for shipments of any size nationwide. We understand how buying and selling and the moving that comes with it can be overwhelming. Let Paragon Home Resources simplify the process for you and those you love. Paragon Home Resources is an industry leader in real estate and moving services. Check them out today. To learn more, please visit paragonhomeresources.com/AMAC or call us at 855-647-2644.